Hello everybody. Welcome to the Bit-Size Stories channel. If you like the stories, please consider to like, subscribe and comment down below. Would help me a ton. In the heart of Caradon, the sprawling underground city, lived Thrain Coppervein, a dwarf of remarkable skill and ingenuity. For generations, the dwarves of Caradon had thrived on the artistry of blacksmiths, metallurgists, alchemists, and tinkerers. Their creations were the envy of the realm, sought after by kings and adventurers alike. But as Thrain honed his craft amidst the clanging of hammers and the shimmering glow of molten metal, he felt a restlessness within him. The dwarven culture and nation had grown isolationist over the years, keeping their magnificent creations and skills to themselves. They ventured outside the safety of Caradon only to procure necessary materials, and the world beyond remained a mystery to most dwarves. Thrain, however, yearned for more. He believed that the crafts of Caradon were becoming stagnant, trapped within the confines of tradition. With a heavy heart, Thrain decided to embark on a journey to the outside world. He sought to test his inventions, find inspiration, and share the wonders of his craft with others. His decision was met with mixed reactions from his family and fellow dwarves. Some admired his bravery and ambition, while others cautioned him against the dangers that lay beyond Caradon's protective walls. Undeterred, Thrain packed his trusty toolkit and a few essential supplies. With each step, the underground city faded away, and the air grew colder as he ascended towards the surface. Finally, after days of travel, Thrain emerged from the depths into the vast world above. The sunlight was blinding at first, and the world seemed to stretch on endlessly. Thrain felt a mixture of awe and vulnerability as he stepped into the great unknown. But the call of adventure was too strong to resist, and he pressed on, eager to see what the outside world had to offer. As he journeyed through the human towns and elven enclaves, Thrain encountered wonders beyond his imagination. The architecture, culture, and diversity of the races fascinated him. He shared tales of his homeland and the crafts of Caradon, finding warmth in the camaraderie of fellow inventors and craftsmen. But amidst the beauty and camaraderie, Thrain also encountered the harsh realities of the outside world. One fateful evening, as the sun set on the horizon, he found himself on a lonely stretch of road. The air grew thick with tension, and before he knew it, he was surrounded by a group of bandits. Their eyes filled with greed and malice. "Hand over your valuables, dwarf," one of them demanded, brandishing a wicked-looking blade. Thrain's heart pounded in his chest as he weighed his options. He knew that resisting the bandits would likely lead to a brutal confrontation. Reluctantly, he handed over his belongings, hoping that they would be satisfied and leave him unharmed. But the bandits were not so easily appeased. They saw the glint of Thrain's intricate tools and inventions and lusted after them. They demanded that he hand over everything he had, including the very tools that were an extension of his creativity and skill. Thrain's heart sank, but he knew that his life was more valuable than his possessions. With a heavy heart, he surrendered his tools, his eyes filled with a mix of anger and defeat. The bandits left him wounded and disheartened, taking not just his belongings but a piece of his spirit as well. Thrain stumbled through the wilderness, his wounds slowing his progress. He knew he had to find shelter and heal before he could continue his journey. Miles away from where the bandits had attacked him, he collapsed near a humble farm. The world grew hazy as darkness threatened to consume him. But before he surrendered to unconsciousness, he heard the soft voices of a young girl and a boy. "Look! Someone's hurt," the girl exclaimed. "We should call Papa and Mama to help," the boy replied. In a blur of images, Thrain felt gentle hands tending to his wounds, and he heard the soothing voices of the young siblings. When he finally regained consciousness, he found himself in a small, cozy room, bandaged and cared for. At first, fear gripped Thrain as memories of the bandits flooded back. But as he opened his eyes and saw the kindness in the faces of the farm's inhabitants, his fear was replaced with gratitude. The young girl, Iana, and her brother, Finn, had found him near their farm and rushed to get their parents, Anna and Gregor. The family welcomed him with open arms, expressing genuine concern for his well-being. Thrain tried to express his gratitude, but words failed him. Instead, he vowed to repay the family's kindness in any way he could. As his wounds healed, he set to work, helping around the farm and using what little remained of his tools to invent devices that would ease the family's daily toil. He crafted a water wheel that irrigated the fields, saving the family hours of labor. He created a contraption that churned butter, making the task faster and more efficient. Each invention was met with wonder and gratitude from the family, and Thrain felt a sense of fulfillment that he had not known in a long time. As weeks turned into months, Thrain grew close to the family. They shared meals, stories, and laughter, and the days passed in a blur of warmth and companionship. He felt a sense of belonging that he had never experienced before, and it filled the void that had been left by the bandits' cruelty. But the time came for Thrain to continue his journey. The family understood his need to explore the world and pursue his craft beyond the boundaries of their farm. They wished him well, promising to always be a home to him should he ever return. With a heavy heart, Thrain bid the family farewell. Tears glistened in Iana's eyes as she hugged him tightly. "Thank you for everything," she whispered. "You'll always have a place in our hearts." Thrain smiled through his own tears, touched by the love and kindness he had found on the farm. With renewed determination, he set forth once more, his heart lighter than it had been in a long time. This time, he knew what to expect from the world, both the wonders and the harsh realities. But he also knew that there were good people out there, like the family who had taken him in and shown him compassion. As Thrain continued his journey, he carried with him the memories of the farm and the inspiration he had found in the kindness of its inhabitants. He knew that he would encounter both challenges and moments of joy, but he was ready to face them all. As Thrain ventured into the human capital, he marveled at the bustling city, its towering buildings, and the vibrant tapestry of cultures that coexisted within its walls. The air was filled with the scent of exotic spices, the sound of bustling market stalls, and the chatter of people from all walks of life. Among the myriad of sights and sounds, Thrain's keen eyes spotted a sign that made his heart skip a beat, a dwarf emblem hanging above a smithy. Eager to connect with someone from his own kin who had also left the confines of Caradon, he hastened his steps towards the establishment. As he entered the smithy, the sound of hammer striking metal filled the air, and the glow of the forge illuminated the face of another dwarf. Thrain's eyes widened with recognition as he saw the familiar features of a fellow dwarf, and a warm smile spread across his face. "Brother!" Thrain called out, and the other dwarf turned, his eyes widening in surprise. "By the mountain's beard! Another dwarf in this human city," the other dwarf exclaimed, setting down his hammer and stepping forward to embrace Thrain. The two dwarves exchanged introductions. Thrain learned that the other dwarf's name was Brunder Ironbeard, and he had left Caradon years ago in search of adventure and new opportunities. Brunder had established his own smithy in the human capital and had become a respected artisan among the humans. Over the next few days, Thrain and Brunder spent their time sharing stories, reminiscing about Caradon, and catching up on the events that had shaped their respective journeys. They spoke of the challenges they had faced, the wonders they had encountered, and the inspiration that had driven them to leave their underground home. In the evenings, they would work side by side in Brunder's smithy, exchanging ideas and techniques. Thrain shared some of his own innovations, and Brunder was equally eager to show Thrain the unique techniques he had learned from the humans. Their meeting was a celebration of their shared heritage and a reaffirmation of the bonds that connected all dwarves, no matter where they roamed. As they parted ways, Thrain and Brunder promised to stay in touch, knowing that their paths would likely cross again in the future. Once more, Thrain set forth into the wilderness, his heart full of gratitude for the reunion with Brunder and the inspiration he had found in the human capital. As he journeyed, he encountered breathtaking landscapes, treacherous terrains, and both benevolent and malevolent creatures. One day, as he walked through a dense forest, he heard the distant sound of voices. Intrigued, he followed the sound until he stumbled upon a campfire surrounded by 6 individuals. The memories of him being mugged flooded his mind once more. But strangely a sudden calmness, as if he was approaching old friends, spread across his hearth. As if some benevolent being touched his very soul and soothed his fear. The group turned their heads as Thrain approached, and he felt a mix of nerves and excitement. He had seen many wonders in his journey. But this gathering of diverse individuals felt like a new chapter, a meeting destined by fate. "I am Thrain Coppervein," he introduced himself. "A dwarf from Caradun." That was the end of our story. If you liked the story, please consider to like, subscribe and comment down below. See you at the next one. Goodbye.